Morning, everybody. It is Friday. Let's see, this is September 5th. Yeah. Welcome to September, my daughter's birth month. Sure hope Zach, her boyfriend, is treating her with all the birth month festivities. So, today we're going to discuss identity. And throughout history, man has defined his identity generally to his occupation. That's why we have American names like Smith. They adopted that last name because they were blacksmiths and things like that. A lot of last names all over the world can be tied to the career of the person that chose that last name. And that has been like that for a huge bit of a swath of time. You would end up with lords, and even Jesus. Jesus was not Jesus Christ. In his day, he was Yeshua of Nazareth. He was a Nazarene. Mary Magdalene was not her last name. She was Mary of Magdala. That's where she was from. Joseph of Arimathea. A lot of people, their last names were tied to their origins. And that gave them identity. And, hey, I'm Bob of Houston, and hey, I'm John of Houston. Hey, we're from Houston. There you go, hey. But que sera, sera, sera. So, now we've ventured cannonballed into the deep end of identity politics. And I'm going to take it another step further, is we're dealing with identity religion. Now, let's go back in time. My name was John. I was a blacksmith. So I adopted the name John Smith. Or John Smithy, depending on what region I was from. That would identify me over other Johns in the area. Oh, hey, that's John Smith. Oh, okay, yeah. Now, and then you got like John of, Israel, or John of Houston, or John of the identity, adding that second title didn't entitle you to anything. It just identified you as, you personally over your guy with the same name next to you. You were an original John, not just a John amongst Johns. You were John Smith. You were John of Arimathea. You were John of Houston. Stuff like that, Or you were John Pool Guy. That identified you over the ocean of other Johns out there. But in recent days, we have taken our identity and we have embraced some character defect or a personal part of you and use that in celebrating it, which there's no problem with celebrating, amongst other persons with that same character defect or individualized, difference. Birds of a feather flock together. But we've subcultured ourselves to the point where we are now totally divided. We've got persons out there identifying traumas in their life and modifying or altering their bodies in order to basically put up a sign that says, I've got childhood trauma. Or I've got that trauma now identifies that person. And yes, I'm talking about the septum piercing theory. We've also got the alphabets. LBGTQ++, exclamation point, / ampersand, whatever. Whatever else they want to add to it. I am embracing a proclivity to the point where it is now what I worship. I only, me, my proclivity. And I'm going to stand with others amongst my proclivity and identify amongst my other proclivity to the point where you now have to accept my proclivity and allow me to demonstrate my proclivity in public. Now, we have always had things like parades where we would celebrate, sport heroes, national pride, victories at war, heritage issues, and things like that. You know, we have Cinco de Mayo. We have, persons parading through the streets, embracing their heritage and, showing, their Latin heritage. We've also, which, crazy enough, is not even a real Mexican or Latin American holiday. It's purely an American holiday. Then we had, the New Year's parade, celebrating the New Year. We've also got Rose Bowl parades and stuff like that. Tournament of Roses, blah, 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 blah. And these are beautiful, pride-filled situations. Now, everybody in the family can go and see and experience these things. But what was, something to look forward to, that every member of the family could go and see the beautiful floats and see national and local heroes, and maybe for the first time in your life, see local leaders like mayors and council persons and stuff like that, you don't just see them, for the most part, other than a picture on a, voting ballot and, maybe some political, flyers and stuff like that. You really don't know who this person is. You get to see this person in person, and stuff like that. But then you've got gay pride. Now, what this could have been at one time, or should have been, is leaders of the community having, going out and having, in convertibles and, things that inherently anybody at any stage of life, young, old, and stuff like that, could go see a very tastefully done parade that highlights that, there is a gay community out there. Instead, we end up with persons having sex on the back of flatbeds, persons running around naked, riding, 6-foot tall penises, and just all manner of just disgrace being flaunted to the public. And I do realize that homosexuality and gayness is a sexual proclivity. But there are tasteful ways to exhibit your pride. You've adopted a standard, the rainbow flag and stuff like that. You could have, unicorn floats done up in all kind of colors and things like that would be very tastefully done. Instead, you got that. And if we don't allow you to have your gay pride parade in this orgy on the streets, we are deemed homophobic and all manner of other bad names. Why is that? Heterosexuals in mainstream America would have absolutely no qualms with a tastefully done parade for gay pride. We would have no problem with it. We would also have no problem with homosexuals if you really want to be teachers and read to students at, libraries and stuff like that. Fine. We don't have any problem with that. We do have a problem with you dressing up like, I don't know, in audacious attire, reading basically softcore porn to our 3 to 5 year olds. Yeah, that we got a problem with. I heard a podcast the other day. Why is the gay community so balls to the wall to indoctrinate, and I use that very specifically, the youth of the world? It's because of the same reason why churches have youth groups and youth pastors and things like that. Why is that? Because they want to reach out to the youth. Is there no drag story time, things at nursing homes? Well, because nursing homes are persons who are already have their mentality is already set, locked in stone, and they are ready to pass. It does them no good to, try to indoctrinate a person in a nursing home. But if they can get to a child, and that child will talk to his friends, and that child will talk to his friends, and that child will talk to his friends, it grows. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, when Satan tempted Eve in the garden, it wasn't with grandiose gesture. It wasn't with, technology. It wasn't with fireworks and explosions and confetti cannons and things like that. It was with an apple. And he told Eve that it was good to eat. And not only was it good to eat, it could give knowledge. Wouldn't you and me and everybody love to have a peach or an apple or whatever your favorite fruit is? You know, eat it and all of a sudden you gain truthful knowledge, universal knowledge that, you know, you didn't have before. If only learning could be that simple. The devil is in the details, guys, and the devil is in simplicity. The devil plays the long game, guys. He started at the beginning, guys. He was there. He tempted us with an apple. He tempts us with video games, with apps, with mindless entertainment that is more pleasurable, gives you more dopamine levels in your brain than reading your Bible, than going outside and enjoying nature and talking to God, which is more important than what we used to do, guys. I know I am guilty of it. You know, I got it down on my to-do list to read my devotion or do my Bible study. And instead I'm, you know, scrolling through YouTube. There's no wonder that on the back of your iPhone, there's an apple, guys. Coincidence? I think not. And the fact that it has one bite out of it, guys. Just saying. Who are you? Are you John from Houston? Are you John Smith? Are you John the gamer dude? Are you Jane the lesbian? Are you Sarah with a nose ring? Are you Karen in all the literal senses of being a Karen? Who you are should only be there to identify you amongst the crowd. It doesn't have to be who you are and who you worship, or what you worship. Let's go, Brandon.